HoveLand Radio, oh, wait. HoveLand on the radio. HoveLand Radio, oh, wait. Listen to our radio show.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of HoveLand Radio. I'm here with my new co-host, Steve Hovey. So it still technically works as HoveLand.
Yeah, well, not technically. It still is.
It still is HoveLand.
Yes.
So many of you may be wondering where Mark is, because nobody would be wondering where James is, because we replaced James with Mark.
Right, and like many things, it's kind of Adam's fault.
What's my fault? That Mark's not here?
Yeah.
It's not my fault, okay? He's the one who chose to go to the police. He could have just kept his mouth shut. It was just one kid getting sold. It's not that big of a deal.
You can't be selling kids.
Well, you know what? The court hasn't come down either way on it yet. So right now, we're still kind of in the middle of it. So let's not... I don't think we're allowed to talk about it on air. He might still get away with selling that kid. You don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, whatever.
I'm pretty sure the law is going to frown upon this.
I don't think it's going to. I think what's going to happen is, he's going to have a good argument for why he was selling that kid. And they're going to listen and say, yeah, we see things your way.
There are no good arguments for selling kids.
What if you don't like the kid? What if the kid doesn't like you? What if you give half the money to the kid? What if you bought the kid a present or gave a party for him? Like, there's all kinds of things that you don't know that might have went down in that situation.
None of those circumstances would not be against the law.
Well, like I'm saying, he hasn't got found guilty yet, so it might not be. I think we should just focus on that and not focus that it might be.
No, he's going to be found guilty.
Fine. I don't think so. But anyway, so that's where Mark is. He's testifying against our good friend because he's a squealer, and that's what he did. He squealed on him.
He did the right thing.
Well, you frame it how you want, but to my mind, we're down Rick Gold, and now because of Mark's own actions, he's not here. So we've lost 2 Rick Golds this month and 2 Jameses.
Yeah, speaking of Rick Gold...
I don't want to speak about Rick Gold anymore, okay? I feel like I've already said enough. And I'm just going to let, the courts decide that one, too, if it ever comes to it. But it probably won't.
No, I think something's going to come out of this.
Well, we don't know for sure if he's dead. He didn't come back for his welcome home party. He didn't come to the welcome home party.
You don't find that a little peculiar, Adam?
I find it peculiar. I think maybe somebody else could have killed him, but I didn't. And he probably isn't dead. But if he is, somebody else did it.
You seem pretty sure that he is dead.
It's starting to feel like that. Why would he miss his own, coming home party?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
One that perhaps you can answer.
I'm not answering any more questions on the subject. From here on out, I'm going to be the one, asking the questions, okay? That's just the way that it's going to be.
Oh, I don't think so. I think that you're going to love our special guest today, who's going to have some questions to ask myself. Of course I did.
Well, it was my turn, so that was not very, that was rude of you.
Yeah, well, you were going to bring Rick Pyrite, and he's in jail, so what are you going to do?
He was going to be the one, it was his one phone call, was going to be to here. So you ruined that for him.
Yeah, well, at least I didn't burn down our studio.
Okay, that's not fair, all right? How can you say that I burned it down? Somebody else lit that gas box on fire. I didn't light it on fire. It just happened. Somebody else did it, probably.
You brought a box full of gas to a party.
Where there was a campfire. There was a campfire. What do you think? You're going to just keep it going with wood all night? Eventually, You're going to run out, and you have to throw gas on it. It's a normal thing to do.
It's not a normal thing to bring a box of gas to a party.
I think somebody intentionally lit that box of gas on fire. That's what I'm proposing. And that it was you.
Well, that doesn't make any sense, since I was having a conversation with you next to the fire, wasn't I?
What? Yeah, that's true. You know what, though? You probably put Tim up to it. Tim probably did it, because isn't it awful convenient that as soon as that fire caught, he came running down saying, the box is on fire. That seems like awful suspicious to me.
No, he knew that you were the one who brought the box of gas. So he wanted to implicate you, like you should have been.
Yeah, well, it was my mom's gas. So if anybody, it's her fault. She should be the one to take the blame on this one for burning down Rick Gold's studio. And The big problem with this is something we're not focusing on. Is this is also the end of HoveLand. All we can do now is this radio station. So whoever's fault it is, I'm mad at them, but it's not mine.
I'm pretty sure it's yours, and I'll make videos on my phone if I have to.
You're going to keep making videos
Well, yeah.
on your phone.
Yeah.
They're going to look terrible.
That doesn't matter. I'll be the only one getting paid still.
I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of money. Because even if Rick Gold, comes back to life, or the new Rick Gold gets out of jail, or any of those possible scenarios, he's not going to be able to afford to rebuild the studio. It's burnt to the ground.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I think Rick Gold will figure out.
He's going to build a new one from the ground up.
Yeah, assuming he's alive.
He's definitely alive, but maybe not. Okay? But one thing that we do know is the studio burnt down, so let's mourn that. I got an idea. How about we get people to send us money to build a new studio? We could be like a charity case.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Well, that's not the attitude of a charity case, okay? You have to be in it. You have to be the one standing there crying that the studio burnt down so people feel bad for us. I've never cried before, but you do sometimes. So why don't you cry on the camera? We'll make, a Kickstarter. Rebuild HoveLand Studio. Because somebody burnt it down. We don't know who.
Adam.
It wasn't my fault, okay?
I was just clearing my throat that time.
Well, if somebody brings a box of gas to a fire, and then someone else lights that box of gas on fire, whose fault is that?
It's still at least partially your fault.
I don't see how.
No, that's just part of the thing, isn't it? So, Rick Gold is still missing.
He's still missing, and he's not coming back, but I'm broadening my investigation to figure out who killed him. Now Joe's on the list for he might have done it. Where was he all weekend? Where was Joe?
Joe had prior engagements.
Yeah, prior engagements to dig up a body, and then, or bury one, or both. Who's to say what he gets up to?
I ran a race this weekend. Like a foot race. A marathon. I'm still pretty tired.
Yeah, what you did, that's a cover. See, none of us were at this race. He went there and signed
I had
up.
1,600 people to confirm where I was there.
You just signed up and then didn't go, is what I'm proposing. That's a good alibi. You signed up for the race, and then when the race started, you ran into the woods to finish burying Rick. That could have happened.
You still seem pretty sure that Rick is dead.
I'm not saying whether or not he's dead, but I'm saying if he is dead, let's get a head start on figuring out who killed him.
Yeah, maybe my special guest can help us.
I doubt it, unless he was the one who killed him, because nobody knows for sure. And nobody can ever figure it out. We can only accuse, and then, go with our gut instinct and persecute that person who we've accused.
Well, we shall see what can happen.
All right, let's get on with the news. You brought a news, right?
Yeah, I did.
Joe, run the news theme song. We're ready for the news theme song. And now it should be noted that this theme song is to be played in spite of James.
News, intrigue, act, world, local people, people's story, excitement, pride, import, politics, weather, education, local fires. With your host, me,
Adam
James Obi.
Landry.
All right, you go first with the news. That's the rules.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, I do have a news story for the people. It's my regret to inform you all that the beloved Canadian famous hitchhiker Hitchbot was destroyed in Philadelphia, ending his U.S. tour. Researchers say that Canadian-made hitchhiking robot is ruined beyond repair.
Hitchhiking robot.
Yes, he's a hitchhiking robot that captured the hearts of fans worldwide. He met his demise in the U.S.
Well, how? Yeah, okay, but how was he a robot? What do you mean? He just had a little motor that made his thumb go. That's not that important. And you say somebody smashed him.
Yeah.
Well, he probably deserved it. Did he poke anyone in the eye?
No, he was just hitchhiking across Canada, which he made it, and then he was doing the U.S. this time, and somebody destroyed him.
Well, yeah, but hitchhiking's not safe. I've never done it because my mom always told me, don't hitchhike. People will smash you up by the side of the road. And that's what happened to this robot, so...
Did you see what happened? It was just sitting innocently on the side of the road, and some guy just came up and decided to beat it and kick it and stuff.
But it's not a living thing. It's a robot. And if they had built this robot the proper way, it could have fought back. You know what I mean? Like,
It's not the point of the robot.
well, then it should have been.
It's
Next
a
time,
social experiment which failed horribly.
you know what? Next time they do it, they would be wise to give it some guns and aiming technology, so it's not just shooting willy-nilly.
I think you're missing the point.
Yeah.
I think I'm making a new point that if you're going to make a hitchhiking robot and not give
It's
it the
not
ability,
the first time it's been done.
well, it's
And it's the first time it made it it was a global robot, wasn't it? It went around the world. It wasn't just...
It wasn't just Canada. It started in Canada.
Okay.
He hitchhiked across
My
Canada,
point
and then
is,
he went to
you're
Europe
gonna make
as well.
a robot
Yeah.
and send it out hitchhiking and not give it a means in which to defend itself. How can you be surprised when
It shouldn't have to.
It shouldn't have to go hitchhiking, but everybody still knows you don't go hitchhiking. How many horror movies start off that way? And you're just gonna
I
send.
meant it shouldn't have to defend itself.
That's what I'm saying. It should have had to, because if it had, it would still be here. So I don't see how you even have a leg to stand on in that argument. I've won the argument. If it had a gun, that guy who abused it would be dead now,
But
and
what
the
are the-
robot would still be living.
What are the programming parameters to say when is it appropriate to use the force? It's just easier to not give it force because it's an inanimate object. It doesn't have...
So they're not ready for it. They shouldn't be out even trying it yet. Wait until you get all the technology down.
It's been done before successfully, and then just one person decide to ruin it for everybody.
And if that person, if there was a means for the robot to take that person down, then it wouldn't have happened.
Well, the point is that a lot of people are now heartbroken.
Well, they should just sign up for my petition where now all robots are going to carry firearms.
That's going to end real good.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Well, I'm just trying to, kickstart that robot uprising that you guys think isn't going to happen. Let's move on to my news.
Fine.
New Brunswick. Okay, this first of all comes from the Manatee, trusted news source, saving the endangered truce.
Except
This
that
was
they're
written
not a
by-
news source.
Well, this was written by Sean Rouse.
Hey, how about this? Try getting news from The Onion next time. They're a little better.
I have an exclusive deal with the Manatee. So, starting September 1st in New Brunswick, provincial government has said, no more, leaving your dog free flying in the car. You got to strap them in. Dogs, buckle them down. Cats, buckle them down. No more of this sticking their heads out the window and that. Do you ever see a dog be jettisoned through a windshield? It's like a little, rover missile.
I'm thankful to have never seen that.
Well, it's ugly scene, okay? And I've never seen it, but I can imagine it, and it's never going to happen again in New Brunswick.
You know what? Despite this being a fake article, it's a really good idea.
I actually think it is a good idea.
Yeah, it is a good idea because it's really going to happen. And if you guys have pets, you better start buckling them down because it
This
says here
might
you'll
be
get
the closest thing to reality that he's ever said in this show.
$172.50 for the first offense, $550 for the second offense. This is dollars I'm talking about, and up to 1,100 of them. 60-day license suspension too for the third offense. So if you're gonna do it, just do it the once and then give it up. If they catch you once, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. First time, it's affordable, but it just goes up from there.
As fines do. You gonna say speed once as well?
What's that?
Run red light once?
Yeah, you can just do all those things. Just try them out, but don't get too comfortable with it because if you get caught, that's it. You're done. Don't do it anymore.
We don't actually condone breaking the law here.
Well, we're not totally against it in this case. So anyway,
Yeah.
so that's my new segment. I think that should.
You guys
pretty much
mentioned a
cover us.
guest earlier.
Oh yeah, a special guest. How about instead of doing a guest, I'll just keep going through the Manatee and I can read more newses.
I don't think that's a great idea.
But there's so many good stories on here. We get, there's lots of great ones. New Brunswick bans dog walking to protect those with allergies.
Yeah, see, that's not true.
Moncton's hosting the next season of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's also not happening.
I had to go. We should if
How to
we have
Please
a
Your Man,
guest,
New Brunswick edition.
Adam. If we have a guest, we should bring him on soon because you guys had your sweet time getting here. I had to go on the radio earlier before the show started and say they aren't here. We're already halfway through the show.
We're halfway through. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like a good time to get the guest on. Let's bring him on when we're almost out of time.
No, I think we should bring our guest on.
That's
Don't
what I'm
you?
saying. Bring him on now. We're almost out of time, is what Joe said.
Yeah, well, our special guest today is a private detective involved with a hot case.
Private detective. He better not be investigating Rick Gold because that's my case. All right, for one thing.
Well, you're going to find out. He's going to be in here in just a minute.
It's my jurisdiction too. Okay, because it's in front of my house. This is just James. You just brought James in here. He's not a private detective.
Well, he is today.
And he's not supposed to be on this show. If you're going to put a chair down, put it down like a normal person. You don't have to make it take all afternoon. Jeez.
Ugh. I'm just getting comfortable in here.
Well, don't.
Back
you're
on
not
my
gonna be in
microphone.
Here again next week, that's for sure. This is a
Welcome.
one-time deal.
Adam, this is not how you treat a guest.
Yes.
That's how I treat your guests.
Welcome.
Poor manners that he has,
Welcome,
doesn't it?
detective.
He should talk. What happened last
Thank you.
time
It's
I
good
had
to
a
see
guest
you,
in here?
Steve.
James kicked him in the hernia. That should be noted.
I didn't kick him in the hernia. I kicked him in the testicles.
But you were aiming for the hernia.
Oh, I was aiming for the testicles.
Well, I think you got a
And
little bit of
I
both.
hit him right there.
Yeah, well, he's not happy about it. And he said he might come back, but probably not. And if he does, it's going to
Well.
be to beat you up.
Okay, then.
I have to scoot in a bit there, Steve.
So,
So what do you think you're doing?
well, I'm hot on the case of what may or may not have happened to Rick Gold.
I'm going to say it didn't happen. Whatever you think happened did not happen. I'm staking my reputation on that.
Well, I'm thinking the possibility could be murder.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that too. But in my mind, the person who brings it up the most is probably did it. So you're just trying to get up there with all, Steve right now probably
Well,
did it.
This is the first time I've brought it up to you.
Right.
So,
But Steve's brought it up 4 times, Joe's brought it up once, and Tim brought it up twice.
Do I
You
need
bring
to
it up
bring
an
up
awful
the
lot, though.
conversation we had by the fire at that party?
I don't bring it up a lot. I'm ready to talk about it. but
well, I
don't
was
bring it up.
outside. I heard you talk about Rick Gold being dead several times.
He might be. You got to accept
And
that.
and the last time,
Before you got here today, you could have been dead. We didn't know.
yeah, well, the last time I was talking to you, you were in contact with Rick Gold.
Yeah, but it went it went dark.
but-
I don't hear from him anymore. He sent me his phone in the mail. And ever since I got his phone in the mail,
He sent you his phone in the mail.
yeah. And he just random.
Return address.
I don't know. I don't think so.
What sort of package did it come in?
A box.
A box?
I guess so. Yeah. Box.
Where was it shipped from?
I didn't
What sort
check.
of label? Who brought it? Canada Post? FedEx?
Yes, both of them. They were
Brown?
Okay, they carried it in together, both of them.
All the shipping companies brought in one
phone.
telephone.
It's an expensive bill.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Rick Gold paid it. Look, let's not focus on that. Let's not focus on that.
Okay.
I don't know where the phone
Okay.
came from.
Well, I'm
I don't
just saying.
normally check.
I'm not-
return
I'm
addresses.
not-
I'm not in that kind of habit.
Well,
I'm
it's
not-
peculiar, isn't it?
It is peculiar, but merely circumstantial. I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
I am. I'm accusing you of doing it. Maybe Steve probably did it.
Well, I definitely
Joe
didn't.
Might have done it, and there's a good chance Tim did it. I'm accusing all of you. Maybe this is a conspiracy.
I'm not even really sure a crime has actually happened.
None of us can
Do
be.
tell.
Well, I found some objects belonging to Rick Gold.
Yeah.
Go on.
He just throws them
Dumped
out the window.
over a bridge.
He drives around throwing his objects out the window. He's
A
known
bridge,
to do
you
that.
say?
Well,
Yes.
he drives over that bridge a lot, and sometimes he's throwing stuff out the window of his
And-
car. It's a habit he should break.
And under this bridge, I found a blanket, which bears similarities to ones I have seen around Adam's home.
Is that so?
Yeah, but I have just the most normal blankets. The blankets that I get are the most common ones. I Google them before I buy them. I don't want anything
But-
fancy blanket-wise. I want the kind everyone else has. I don't know what to buy.
See anything else down that bridge?
Rick Gold's clothes.
Oh. This
And
is
Why would I have
interesting.
Rick Gold's clothes? I've never worn Rick Gold's clothes, okay? That doesn't
Well,
make any sense.
I never said anything about you. I'm merely saying what I found.
But Steve keeps looking at me because what he's trying to do is
There's only 4 people in this room, and you're one of those people.
Yeah, but
generally you are included in the
take some
conversation.
time
He
to
should look
Joe.
at you,
or like
That's
stick with James. There's a lamp over there that's a little interesting. Look at it for a bit. Stop looking at me because I didn't do anything.
the lamp isn't involved in the conversation. You are.
Not anymore. I'm not involved in this.
Okay.
All right?
All right, well,
So,
let's continue with
and then-
amongst ourselves then.
I found
I'd rather you didn't do that either.
a sort of hobo campground
Oh?
where I found Rick Gold's jacket
Huh.
and signs of a bear. So if
Wait a
Rick
second.
Gold may not have been murdered, whoever had maybe done something to Rick may have caused his death and is therefore now responsible for murder if they previously had not been.
Interesting.
Well, now what you're saying though is that a bear probably ate him.
Well, I'm also seeing signs of attempted murder and a bear, so I'm not saying I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but I didn't. Okay, you can't one person get charged with attempted
Look,
murder
look.
and then another person get charged
Look.
with the murder. Let's just blame it on the bear and be done with it. Or if it could partially be James's fault, let's throw
Well,
some of that in
I
there.
couldn't prove it was the bear either. I don't want to go around shooting innocent bears just because they might have eaten somebody.
You know what else?
This isn't the Grizzly Man documentary. I'm not Werner Herzog.
I have a feeling that you just brought his stuff down there, sprinkled it around, and said, "Oh, look what I found," and made up your own story about it. I don't think that you really put that stuff down there.
I think you're forgetting that conversation we had at the party.
Which conversation?
The one where you said you had something to do with Rick Gold's disappearance.
Yeah, but you caught me,
That's very interesting. I should take note of that.
I said I had
Yes,
something
please
to
for
do
next
with it.
week's
Yeah.
episode of Unjamesed Mysteries.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
when a mystery gets jamesed,
Yeah.
it's solved.
Yeah, I saw that. How did you get that onto our website, by the way?
I have the password.
Well, whoever has the password now had better change it so that James doesn't know what it is, because he's not allowed just uploading his own videos when he's
It-
not
it's
part of
that-
HoveLand.
James still has the password.
Yeah, it's my account. I'm registered as the owner of the account.
But we sold that to Rick Gold.
Yeah, but I never changed any of the information on YouTube, so it's still legally mine.
Yeah, well, I'm going to
Rick
take...
Gold's just a financer, really.
Yeah.
But I have a mystery for you. Where's all the time gone?
Where has all the time gone?
It's only not that late. Okay, we still got time. We can still talk for 5 more minutes. Because we better.
Okay.
All right. You know what? Let's move off this investigation, because you're never going to figure out what happened to him, because he's fine. And if he's not, someone else did it. Let's talk about Rick Gold's catalog.
Well, I thought there was an audio recording that you may have had, Steve.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
There's no audio recording, okay?
I may or may not have recorded some of our conversation with my phone.
Yeah, well, you better not have.
Yeah, but I might have.
Well,
I don't... Look, this is a conspiracy against me, all right? This is all
I'm
clear
not
to see.
conspiring against anyone.
Everyone is.
I
Everyone
just
is.
want
It's
to
against
find
me.
the
No
truth.
Yeah,
conspiracy
well,
needed.
your truth is Rick Gold's probably fine. But if he's not, it's your fault. Let's move on to Rick Gold's catalog, because I burnt the studio down, so we have to get...
Yeah, you burnt down all your stuff. Good thing I can keep making my show, because I found this great camera guy running backwards at a marathon, and I have Jason to work with me, so I can keep making my show.
Yeah, but we burnt down
on the
all-
James Hovey channel.
But all their stuff got burnt down. All of HoveLand is gone in that fire. That
Yeah,
shouldn't-
fortunately, I still have stuff.
Not much.
That's why I don't store my stuff at the studio.
Well, if we sell enough of these new Rick Gold's catalog items, we can have stuff too. Spin the song, Joe.
Around the house that you can't find because they make no sense. Well, they make sense, and we sell them from Rick Gold's catalog.
All right. So this is Rick's Useful Things edition. Rick Gold's Golden Goods catalog.
Useful?
They're all useful things.
I've never seen anything in the Rick Gold catalog that was useful.
Well, now, your job is not to talk about the Rick Gold catalog. That's Steve's job. Pick an object, Steve, and I'll tell you all about it.
Okay, explain the dish rinser.
It's, it rinses dishes off. It's like it was inspired by a dishwasher.
It looks like a garden hose.
Why can't they just use the tap to rinse their dish?
Well, what if the dish is like really big and it's on the floor? You can just blast this down to the floor this way. You can kind of rinse whatever you want with this. It doesn't have to be just dishes either.
It's just a hose.
Yeah.
It's just but it attaches to your sink.
Why would you need a plate that big?
Why wouldn't you just use the one that's on the side of the sink?
You're just nitpicking, okay? It's still a good invention. It's only $8. Why don't we focus on the price? And it's made out of silk, I think.
What is the least expensive thing I've seen in this catalog so far?
Yeah.
Flip the page. There's better
A
ones.
deal.
You'll buy one?
No.
Well, how are we ever going to
It was sarcasm, Adam.
Yeah. Remember, if you
Sarcasm.
do want to buy any of these products, you go to Rick Gold's Facebook page and send him a message, and somebody will meet you somewhere in an alley. Next one.
Don't do that, please.
Oh, I'm a little curious why anybody needs Rick Gold's knife cutters.
Yeah, how exactly does that work?
Well, if you have a lot of knives, like a whole knife set, right? Let's say you've got a knife set, hypothetically.
Okay,
You've
yeah.
got 10 knives. They're all different sizes, but you've lost the 3 little ones. What are you going to do with 7 big ones? You don't need 7 big ones. You can cut some of those down to smaller knives.
I've never bought a knife set that had 3 of one size and 7 of another.
And that's not something you do anyway. You don't just cut knives down to size.
No, you never did. You never did because you just couldn't do it. But now,
That's the only thing. Is like stupid people would do that, Adam.
it's easier for them. Whoever wants to do it can do it. All right, I'm not going to discriminate. I'm not going to say that just because you do this, you're stupid. That's what
I will.
James would say. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you need a smaller knife. We can help you with that.
If you
$44.95.
If you think your butter knife is too big and you want to cut it down a little bit, this is the product for you, I suppose.
Why would you buy a knife that's too big in the first place?
Yeah.
You didn't. Maybe when you bought it, you were standing further away from it, and you thought it was smaller.
So
At some point during
perspective.
the purchasing process, you must have picked it up.
Yeah, to
Let's
put
say
it
you
in the
have-
shopping cart
let's say
and
you have
take
a
it to the
servant
counter at
doing this,
Walmart.
and he can't see very well. It could happen. It could happen. What's the next one?
Oh, please. Yeah, what is the next one?
Rick Gold's patented less cord phone.
Yeah, less cord phone. They're not quite cordless, but they're not as expensive as a full cordless, but they just don't have very much cord on them, so it's not that bad.
It's just a phone with a shorter cord than usual.
It's very short. It's only 4 inches.
That,
So it's
so
almost
you have
as
to
if you're-
crouch next to the phone?
I don't know how people use it, but
Well,
the thing they should focus on is that it's almost cordless. This thing's
The
only
the
$10.
base looks like one
You
of
know how
those
much a
big
cordless phone
desk
costs?
models.
Almost cordless.
Yeah, it took us a lot to get that little cord in. You know, it's a technology. It's an advancement in technology. Okay, look, what I'm saying is, maybe you want a full cordless phone. They're $70. This one's only $10, and it's got almost no cord.
You know they invented the cell phone, right?
Yeah, my current phone has no cord, and I don't have to be tethered
Yeah, that's a
next to the
$500,
device.
$700
No
phone.
cord, and it goes on the internet.
Yeah, but it costs you thousands of dollars.
All the
to
adult
do that.
videos I could want.
And the battery lasts forever.
You can call 1-800 numbers with ours. Anyways, flip to the next one. Less cord phone. Good
All right,
product.
fine.
$45. $44.95.
The D Micro Cool Wave.
Yeah, you know what this is, right?
Some kind of reverse microwave.
Well, that's what was in mind with it when they invented it, but really, it doesn't turn out that way. Because you got to keep packing it back full of ice. The ice that's in it doesn't last.
So it's not even a refrigerator; it's a cooler.
Yeah, it's like an ice pack.
Well, $54.95, okay? It's a good one.
I can go down and local department store and get a cooler for like $12.
Yeah,
About the same size as a.
same size and a better quality.
Yeah, so
cooler.
we've just reinvented a cooler.
Well,
Yeah,
or
way to
with-
go, Rick Gold's catalog.
repackaging
All these
existing
products
coolers.
are great.
Okay, one more. This is the
Almost
last
as if
one.
They come up with a name and then try to make up a thing for the name.
This is the best one. This is the best one. All right? This everybody could use.
Luggage with bigger wheels and a seat.
Yeah. So you can sit on it and wheel yourself right up to the airport instead of the other way around where you're wheeling.
That's a wheelchair.
With a bag on the back.
You can look at it whatever
Yeah.
you want, but it's a
It's like the
portable
Tony Hawk
solution.
Pro Skater wheelchair edition.
It's a practical solution for moving your luggage from point A to point B while you are attached to the luggage. Instead of you moving the luggage, now the luggage is moving you.
It's
If
also
you-
a practical solution for locomotion for paraplegics.
if the airport's down the hill, you're going to get there quicker.